Hello everyone, welcome to Tridion Docs 15.1 Bootcamp session. In this session, me, Gizem Karabulut, and my colleague Andriy, we are going to cover the publication hub, organized space, new setting pages, and organized space improvements. I'm going to start with the publication hub feature. And first of all, I would like to summarize you the insights that we collected over the time from our customers. And basically, these insights are the request from us. These are the things our customers would like to see in the organized space. I grouped this feedback into three categories. So if you look at it from the organizational perspective, so more and more customers start working with a project way of working style, and they would like to see the representation of this in the Tridion docs. And they would like to have a visibility into publication version progresses. So they would like to see at the high level what's going on, which works are in progress. And also for some customers, it's very important to capture and store the key contributor sign-off and for the auditing purposes. If you look at it from the writers and the reviewers perspective, so Tridion Docs has a folder structure and which is convenient for publication captains to manage the content structure. However, it is lacking a usable landing page for writers and reviewers. So what's happening right now? The captains share link of the collective spaces with the teammates. And then these people, whether they bookmark these links or they need to go back to their old emails and find the links from there. But it's not convenient, so the landing page is lacking in the organized space. Also for the reviewers, these people can have many review tasks at the same time. They would like to easily see that which one is the most urgent one, which one is there is more time to review. Also, they stated that it will be really nice to reach out to their previous work easily so that they can use this as a reference for their further work. And lastly, from the publication captain's perspectives, these people are the coordinators of the team, the other writers and the reviewers. They would like to have more visibility into the progress. So they want to know that who has finalized their task and who hasn't yet. And for the sign-off part, so for some customers, they use some external tools just to keep the sign-off, but they don't want to actually go to an external tool to manage this. They would like to keep the content and the sign-off in the same system. So we began with addressing the core requirements while designing the publication hub concept. And we would like to deliver a flexible functionality. As you know that we have different customers, they have different organizational structures and the workflows. So our purpose was to provide a flexible functionality that can support end-to-end process, which starts from publication version generation, which is authoring, and then continues with review. Also, we wanted to give some project sense by introducing the key project management elements, like the review due dates, and the assignees. And I want to remind you or emphasize you that this is the first version of the publication hub. As I said, we aim to address the core requirements. Therefore, the first version is not a micromanagement tool for managers or publication captains. So we assume that the human interaction, the team meetings will continue in the organizations. So it's not going to replace the human interaction. Also, with this version, we haven't introduced the project notion yet because we didn't want to increase the complexity from the beginning. Throughout this presentation and demo, you are going to hear me two different personas. First one is the publication captain. So what is this? So not every organization has the publication captain, but this is the user actually who manages the publication version, who coordinates the other writers and the reviewers. And basically, this can be in some organizations can be a lead author or another technical author, or maybe a project owner. It can have different names. But for the publication hub, this is the user who needs to have a project management or system admin privilege so that that user can act as a publication captain in the hub. And the other persona is the assignee. So assignee is the user who is linked to a publication version in the hub. So it can be any user, it can be an author or a reviewer or a SME. There is no privilege is required. And we are only checking that the users read access to the publications folder. Also, you will hear from me that the project and the assignment, when a publication version is added to the hub with the details like the description, review due date, or with the assignees, then it becomes a project. And in the publication hub, we are keeping only 2 project state. When it's added to the hub, it starts with the ongoing state. And when the work is completed, it can turn to closed state. Also, we are keeping the work status. This is specific to the assignees. Basically, it is the status of assignees' work, whether it's pending, they need to still work, or it's done, which means the contributors are signed off. So in overall, if we look at it as a flow, Publication Hub enables this for our different personas. So it's a place for publication captain to add a publication version together with the other properties like assignees, due dates, descriptions. Then the publication hub will become the landing page for the authors so that they can easily see what is their next task, and then they can jump from organized space to the draft space or the review space or publication manager to complete their work. It is same for the reviewers. They can use here as a landing page. Since they will see the review due dates, they can easily understand what task is the most urgent one. And from here, they can jump to review space to do their things. And as you know that this kind of a circular work, so there are back and forths, but when they complete their work, also they can sign off the content from the publication hub. They can mark the publication as done. And the good thing is for the publication captains can see the progress of the publication. When they see that the key contributors completed their job, they can do their final checks and then they can close the project. But all of us know that life is not goes that smooth, and there are most of the time change requests and rework. So in that case, we give power to publication captain to turn a closed project into the ongoing state so that they can update the assignment details, they can add new people, remove old ones, or update the properties, and basically they can kick off the work again to reflect the change request or the additional request. This new feature is added to the organized space to the primary navigation. So it is in the second order. Also in the organized space, we introduce, as I said, a new system level privilege under the settings edit user role. So this is the project admin privilege, or it's going to be project management privilege actually. And this should be added to the user, which is going to act as a publication captain. And let's start looking at the user interface details. I'm going to start with the publication captain's journey. And their journey is starting with adding a publication version to the hub. For this action, we designed a wizard with 3 steps. In the first step, then the user selects the publication version and then define the properties of the project, like the description, review due date. This is specific for the reviewers. And the due date. This is kind of an overall due date of the project. And in the second step is selecting the assignees. So the publication captain is the default assignee. They can remove themselves here. And also they can add the other people. Here we are checking the retag set and we are displaying only the eligible users. And the third step is the overview. When they save the publication, then the publication is seen in the list view in the publication hub. So this is the list view of the hub, and it has two tabs, My Assignments and All in Hub. So my assignment means that this user is an assignee, so they need to sign off the content. Here in the details, they can see the publication name, version, progress. It means that, for example, here there are 4 assignees and only one of them completed their work. The state of the project is ongoing, and the work status, it is my work. So whether it's pending, I need to work for this, or it's done. And then the due dates and the description part. And here on the top, we have the action buttons. On the right, we have the insights area. And on the top, we have the pub settings. As I said, we have also all in hub tab. So we also worked on this so that the users who are not assignee, they can also use this view as a landing page. Because we saw that some of the customers, they are only looking for the sign off from the key contributor, for example, the lead author from the lead reviewer or some management level. But there are more people who needs to contribute into the publication, so that these people, even if they are not assigned, they can go all in hub and see the publications that are in progress and use this view as a landing page for them. And the filtering and sorting rules are based on the urgency. So the ongoings are always on the top, and then we are sorting the view based on the review due date in ascending order. So by default, the publication hub will display only the ongoing publications. However, on the interface, we enabled to change the setting. So next to the publication hub heading, we have the settings button. So basically, afterwards, user can change it from all to display everything, to see everything. In the Insight panel and the list view, we are displaying the publication name, version, and the details. Also, on the Insight panel, under the properties, we are displaying the same properties. But additionally, we also display when the project is created, who created, when is the last modification, and who modified it last. Also, this is the place to update the properties. Also, in the second tab, we have the Assignments tab. Here we display the assignee details and their work statuses. As I said, that the Insight panel also the place to update the project properties, but we have a rule that only ongoing projects can be updated by the publication captain. So assignees can see this page only read-only mode. Also here, we do not support the project assignee level. So if you look at the assignment view, so from the Insights panel, when you click the assignment button and go to details button, afterwards, you will see the assignment details view. Here is the detailed view of the work statuses and assignees, and we are keeping when the work is completed, the timestamp, also the completion comment. Here, the publication captain can reset the assignee's work or delete, add a new assignee, manage this view. Basically, I provided more details here. If they would like to add new assignee, we are opening the Add Assignees model, and we are displaying again only the eligible users there with their display name. And they can remove an assignee from that assignment, but we have a rule here. There is at least one assignee linked to the project. So we do not want to orphan projects in the system. Also, they can reset the publication captain can reset the assignee's work status. So maybe they completed the work, but they had a change request. They need to work again. Basically, the captain can change the status to pending. So what's happening from the assignees sides, what they can do in the publication hub. First, as I said, this is the landing page for them, and we are supporting the easy navigation. When they log into organized space and click the publication hub, they can see the publication. And here there's a locate functionality. When they click it, they can go to the organized space publication detail page, and they can use action button for easy navigations. And from the insights panel, they can see the details of the project. So for the easy navigations, we use the same rule in the organized space. We display open in draft space and review space button only if these applications are enabled at the default setting page. Also, we have open in publication manager button displayed at the list page so that they can also go to publication manager, and we are going to display the selected publication there. Also, as I said, we have the locate functionality to go to publication detailed view in the organized space. So when they completed their work, the next step is the signing of the content. So in order to do that, they need to use the My Assignments view. So at the My Assignments view, when they click the check button, then we are opening the confirmation sign-off dialog, mark as done dialog. They can leave a comment. It is optional. And with clicking mark as done, the sign-off is completed. And if they would like to revert their sign-off, they need to click the cross button. So this is the return to pending dialog. So basically, they can reset their sign-off in that way. So what else they can do? Next to their job, they can also see their teammates' progress from the Insights panel. They can also go to the assignment page, but in that case, these are only read-only pages. They are not able to take action like publication captain. So we are in the last step. People completed their work. So the publication captain, now the captain can close the project. So in order to do that, again in the list view, they can track the progress bar. When it's all completed, it turns to green. So they can click move to close button. The good thing is that we heard from customers, sometimes, for example, they add many reviewers to a project, but actually they are not looking for all of them's approval. So if some of them are approved, it's okay for them. In order to support this, we give power to publication captain, move a project to close, even though the progress is not complete. Basically, captain can decide it with their judgment when to close a project. But also, it's important to remind you that when it's closed, by default, we are displaying only ongoing. It's going to disappear from this screen. So to see the closed one, you need to update the publication hub settings. And when it's time to actually remove the publication version from the hub, when the list grows and this project is not needed anymore, it's possible to remove it from the publication hub. So they need to click the delete button, and we are opening this model. And in that model, we would like user to enter the publication version number manually. We did it to prevent accidental deletion. It's because with the first version, we are not keeping the history. When a project is deleted, basically the all assignees, work statuses, commands, and the data that we are keeping will be also deleted. But that doesn't mean that the publication version is going to be deleted in the repository. So the publication version stays under the structured content. And the last thing, that's the flexibility to turning to ongoing status. If the publication version in the closed state and if the work needs to be restarted, then the action button turns to return to ongoing. By clicking that one, the state can be updated to ongoing, and afterwards, a publication captain can change the assignment details and the properties of the project. So I would like to do a quick demo to you how it's working. Here, I am going to sign on with my user. Okay, let me refresh the page. Okay, so my user, Gizem Karabulut user, is the publication captain privilege. So here the publication hub and second place. And when I click it, it opens with my assignment view. As you can see, there is one ongoing is there. And on the side panel, the properties are listed. And since I am the publication captain, I am able to update the properties here. I can also see what else in the hub. There are more ongoing projects, but I'm not the key contributor for this. I can also see the details of this. For example, for this one, which people are working and what are their work statuses. I can go to detail and to see the more detailed view. So as I said, we are going to display only ongoing by default, but I'm able to change it to all. In that case, I see also the closed ones. So let's start with adding a new publication to the hub. So the first thing is that selecting the publication version. We are using the item selector here. Here, if I go to, for example, my favorites and then select publication, I am also able to, if I double click, to go and see the version details. So I can also add the previous version to the hub. So if I select this and then I will update the description. So let's say release 15.1 changes. I can give a review due date and the overall due date for the project. And the next step is the assignees part. As you can see, I am the logged in user is the default assignee. And next to that, I can select more people here. Let's see also Alexi are added. And at the last step, we display the summary. And when I save it, it is the publication version now is added here. So as a captain, I added here. Now let's sign out from me and sign in as an author or reviewer. So as an assignee. So under the publication hub view, see here is the edit publication. So if I go to properties, this is now in the read-only mode. Again, I see the assignees, but if I go to assignment page detail, there is no action available. It's again only read-only. So what can I do here? I can use this page as a landing page, and I can select my publication and go to the draft space or review space or the publication manager to do my work. And when it's ended, to sign off the content, I need to select the content and then click Mark as done. Leaving comment is optional. I can mark it as done, but after, if I see that something is missing, I can actually return to pending status. Then it's again the progress bar and the assignees are updated. But for now, let's mark it as done. So if I go back to the publication, captain persona. So as I said, the publication captains can track the changes here. For example, as a captain, the Gizem also has is an assignee. So I can also, when I complete my part, I can mark this as done, and it's reflected to the progress bar. And in that case, the Alexei didn't complete his job, but maybe it's not important. So as a captain, even in that case, the progress is not complete. I can use my judgment and move this project to closed status. So it is closed, therefore it's moved down in the status part. And in that case, and as I said that the changes may happen, to reflect the changes, publication captain first needs to turn the closed status into the ongoing status. They need to click return to ongoing. After return ongoing, now I can update the properties again. For example, I can change the description, and I said that that's the legal team's comments needs to be reflected. And this maybe affected the review due date. I can change this to inform the other assignees. And maybe the person who is going to do is not added. So by going to details, I can add new assignees. For example, Yasemin needs to work on this. So I added Yasemin, and maybe Alexei is not needed anymore, so I can delete him from the assignee list. And that way they can reflect the changes, use the system flexible, and when it's really closed and it's not needed anymore, they can select it and remove it from the hub. As I said, we have a quick validation. We are asking the version number, and by entering the version number, they can remove it from the publication hub. So that was a quick demo from my end. And now actually Andriy will continue with the configuration and the extension functionality of the publication hub.
Thank you, Gizem. Let me. Okay, so let me start sharing the screen probably.
Please.
Okay, so thank you, Gizem, again. So let's take a look, as Gizem said, let's take a look on configuration for project object that is used to drive publication hub feature. So there are some technical details underneath the Open API that helps to drive the application hub, and that are new card types, new list of values, and new privilege. There are new card types for project and project assignee, that is CT project and CT project assignee. A new system list of values and workflow controlled by engineering. That means that we don't consider that consider them as extension point of Tridion docs. Project statuses are ongoing and closed, and workflow process allows you to move a project from ongoing state, that is a default state, to closed, and as well as you can also reopen the project that was demoed earlier by Gizem. You can move a project from a closed state to ongoing, and sign-off statuses are pending, that is a default one, and done. There is a new privilege, project management privilege, that determines whether a user is allowed to manage Publication Hub projects. Project object is supported only by OpenAPI, so it doesn't have a coverage in SOAP API. Endpoints that are available, they are powering UI functionality to create project, get a list of projects, update the project, delete the project, add an assignee to the project, update assignee like sign off status, and delete assignee. Let's also cover extensibility for project. And first we'll start with iWrite plugins. Project object is supported by iWrite plugins. So you can subscribe on create or update events. As an example, you can subscribe to events and validate project status. And as soon as it is closed, you can send email notification to respective people. There is out-of-the-box simple configuration for our iWrite plugin for the project that is available. And it's also important to mention that a new iDelete plugins that you can take a look on this separate dedicated webinar, they are not supported by project object in Tridion Docs 15.1. Also, let's cover a UI extension for projects. So extension for a toolbar and object inside panel are possible. As you can see on this exam, on this slide, as an example, you can export list of projects as a CSV or add extra custom metadata in the panel. For the assignments view, you also can use an action toolbar as an extension point. Extension example application and documentation is available at npm.js under Tridion-docs and Tridion docs 1.0.x is for Tridion docs 15.0 release, where we first introduced organized space extensibility. And the new one, Tridion docs 2.0.x package, was updated accordingly to the latest changes and will be available as well at npm.js, npm.js. And that new package, Tridion docs 2.0.x, is for Tridion docs 15.1 release. Important to mention that the major version forces a recompile of your extensions because we switched to a more widely supported and Swag OpenAPI generated client and added project extension support that I just recently showed you. So let's move to the organized space settings pages. So they were updated. It's valid to mention that concepts and business rules are unchanged. However, a big step forward in technology, where we are using React instead of old MVC, and user experience, performance, and security was made. So we will start with users, user groups and user roles. As I said, pages were migrated to React and business rules underneath didn't change. You still can add, edit, and delete a user. Same applies to the user groups view. So it's a new, nice look and feel user experience. State for user group is always active when you are creating it, and you can change that during editing process for that group. Only one user group can be deleted at a time, and confirmation will be shown in case you're trying to do so, and you cannot delete the group if it is used. Same user experience aligned across all the pages is for user roles as well. Also, there is a state property that is active by default for a new user role and can be changed during editing. Multiple deletion for user role is not allowed, and you will see a confirmation if you will try to delete a user role, and a user role cannot be deleted in case it is used. Let's cover also system settings. Default settings view is also updated with a new design. List of optional features is updated with a new draft companion, about which you can take a look on the dedicated Bootcamp session. And organized space application is reloaded to use the latest system settings after you save them. Managing output formats. So let's take a look on output formats. Again, output formats view is also updated to have the similar look and feel as other settings pages. You still can create and edit output formats, as well as you can delete that, and if there is necessity for that, unless it is used. And there are updates for the status definition view. So there is a new behavior for status definition view that is unified across organized space. So status definition view also have active and inactive states. And when you're creating a new status definition, the default state is set to active. And it's possible to change that after you will be editing that to an active state. Statuses with inactive state are filtered from the drop-down of possible statuses to transit to. And valid to mention that previously such behavior by changing the statuses was possible only by using isDeploy commandlet. So we improved the user experience. And now let's take a look on the demo on the new settings pages. So let's start with users. So as you can see, the performance of the list is much better comparing to the previous version. So let's create a new user. Specify a language. User group. User type. Save. As you can see, the behavior of the UI that we are focusing on the just created user. So comparing to previous one where the list was refreshed and you required to find the users that you just created. So now we are focusing on that user in the list, so you can easily edit that, change the language, for example, and I can delete that user as well. Yeah, let's switch to the user groups. Let's create a new one. As you can see, behavior is aligned, and we are also focusing on the just created user group. We can edit that, like change the state. And we can delete the user group as well. User roles. Let's create a new one. Same behavior, focused on the just created user role, so we can edit that, like add a privilege, for example, save that, and we also can delete it as well. Let's take a look on the system. So default settings, as I said, new optional features were updated. We can change some settings, save that, and see that the system asks us to reload organized space to reflect new changes, so we can reload that. Let's change it back. Reload. Output formats. Let's add a new one. Select the resolution. Let's choose PDF. Save it. Again, as you can see, the behavior is aligned and the just created output format is selected in the list, so I can edit that, add a new screen resolution, for example, save that, and I can easily delete that as well. And status definition, so as you can see, new column is available here, and we can create a new status definition. Again, focus is set to the just created status definition. We can edit that. For example, I'm not going to use it anymore. I can set it to inactive. It's updated and the status column reflects the changes, and I can delete that as well. And this concludes my demo part, and I would like to hand over to Gizem to continue with the next part. Thank you.
Thank you, Andriy. Okay. I will continue with the organized space improvements, the other improvements that we did in the product. So let's start with the display name. So we were using the username across the product, but now with this latest version, we are changing this to display name. With that, now users can easily find out other people with their display name, because in some organizations, the username is not that obvious, or sometimes they even use some numbers for it. And this change will be effective in the organized space wherever the user is related. For example, the search and filtering list, property panels, revision history for objects, publication hub assignments, and the inbox list. Also, we introduced a new action to the action toolbar, which is open in Publication Manager. It is placed next to the open draft space and review space buttons. For that one, the minimum prerequisite is the using the Publication Manager 15.1 version. Also, there should be an account available Publication Manager, which matches with the repository, and authentication needs to be access management. If the prerequisites aren't met, then we still continue to display the button, but clicking will not do anything. Due to some feedback, we decided to add the functionality of adding new publication, version, branch, and output via the organized space. So in order to do that, we introduced the publication option under the Add New button inside of the publication folder. A user can create publication via this functionality. So we are opening a Add New Publication model, and this model displays the different templates. And these templates can be created under the System folder, Editor Template, Publications folder. So user can easily create a publication with these templates. And the good thing is that with the publication, also the outputs are copied from the template. Basically, we are copying the output formats to the publication, which are already defined in the template. Users also can create new version. In that case, we always copy the outputs of the latest version. If we look at this screenshot example, here the selected version is 1, and the 1 has only PDF output, but the latest is 3, and it has both PDF and dynamic delivery. In that case, when user clicks to add new version, we are copying the latest version outputs so that the latest version 4, has both PDF and dynamic delivery output. However, it's different for adding new branch. Adding new branch is also possible. It's under the action toolbar when user click adding a new branch button. In that case, whatever the version is selected, here is the 1. We only copy the selected version's output to the new branch. Also, we enabled adding new publication output. It's placed in the action toolbar. When a user click it, they can see the different publication output formats in the model. They need to select and define the language combination. Afterwards, they can easily add this to the publication. Next to adding functionality, of course, we also introduced the deleting functionality. So user can delete the version and outputs from the detail version. And we are also supporting the bulk delete, but we have some rules. For example, if a publication is released or if a folder selected, but the folder has some objects inside of it, then the partial delete happens, and we display the errors and the success in the batch status information dialog. So also we did some improvements in the insights area under the Values tab. And these are the ideas that comes from our community. And before, in the organized space were used and used by tab, we were displaying the publication or the objects. For example, this select object used by penguins. And I can see the name and the version, and I see the same thing multiple times. And it is a bit confusing. User cannot differentiate this. To make it more explicit, we also introduced the language. So this duplication is actually because of the different languages. So it is visible. For object, we display the language, and for the publications, we display the working language of the publication. And another community idea that comes is for the easy navigation. So again, under the where used by tab, for the objects, we used to only have the copy identifier, and that was it. And now when a publication is selected, here we are displaying the easy navigation buttons. So basically from here, user can go to the publication manager, draft space, or the review space. And lastly, we did some improvements in the publication reports, and the same improvement is applied into the workflow, translation, and publication reports, all three of them. To give you some background, in the Tridion Docs 15 version for the reports, in order to manage the illustration and their resolutions, we had a configuration called as baseline resolution, which is defined under the XML settings report section. And this configuration works for the system-wide. And it means that if a customer have multiple teams and each team needs to work with different resolutions set, under this setting, they need to define the widest set, the whole resolution that's going to be used. And as a result, in the reports, we were displaying a warning icon for the missing resolutions, and that caused a bit messy look for some user groups who needs to work only with the working resolution. Even if they don't need the extra resolutions view, they used to see too many warning icons in the interface. Also, that's the resolution field. If there's a warning, we weren't displaying which resolution was missing, so it wasn't filterable, and that was another lack of usability for the user. So to improve this problem a bit, what we did, we moved the system-wide XML setting resolution to the generate report dialog. So basically, that's the baseline resolution field become obsolete. Now user needs to select resolutions which they would like to see in the report. And by default, the working resolution will be displayed pre-selected in that dialog. Also, we did a bit UX UI improvement for the missing resolutions. So we display orange exclamation mark for the missing working resolution, but gray exclamation mark icon for the extra resolutions, so that the users can easily see if the working resolution is missing. And to clear the view, basically, if still is messy for the user, we also introduced a show missing resolution toggle. So playing this toggle, they can actually show and hide the missing resolutions at the report view. And now they can also filter the rows based on the resolutions. So you can see, and now we have the resolution field for all reports, and it's placed in the generate report dialog. And the working resolution comes by default. And in the report, as I said, that the working resolution, if it's missing, it displays with the orange icon. If it's an extra resolution, it is displayed with the gray icon. We place the toggle here so that the user can turn it off and hide the missing resolutions. It stays same. We display a warning icon under the version if the object reference, but it cannot be found. So I want to show you how these functionalities are working. And let me start with the report, since I already mentioned this. For example, for the Tridion Docs publication, I am going to create a workflow report. As you can see, working resolution came by default. I can add the others, for example, high and master. And after that selection, the report is generated. So here on the top, you can see the selected resolutions. And in the report, if I scroll down, as you can see under the statuses, for example, this illustration doesn't have the working resolution. It's also stated in the tooltip. So here it's written that no object was found for the version language working resolution, but the other one, it is just for the version language resolution combination. So they can check it by scrolling, but they don't need to. Basically, this is the improvement for the illustration. They can select the type, and afterwards, after selecting the type, so if they are interested only in what are the missing ones, they can select the status as none. So we only display the missing ones. And if they only interested in the working resolution, they can select the resolution here to see for which illustrations the working resolutions are missing. Or if it's not relevant at all for the user who created this report, they can just turn off the toggle. In that case, we are hiding the missing resolution warnings from the report. Hopefully, this improvement will help our users while using this report. So I would like to continue with adding new publication and output. So let's go to the demo folder, so to publication folder. Here under the add new, we added publication option. So when I click this, then the predefined templates are displayed. Here, user can select one of the template, and then the title is mandatory. Working language and resolutions are preset. And when publication is created successfully, I can go to the details view and I can add a new version by adding the button. There is no intermediate dialog here, and a new version is added. And here I can play with the output formats. For example, I can add a new output format. The second version, let's say the data. I need to select the language combination. Yep. And it's added. And as I show you during the slides, we always take the latest version output. Even if my cursor on the first version and it has two outputs, if I create the new version, it takes the outputs from the latest version. But if I create a branch here, if I add a new branch, it just copies the selected version's output. So like created, I can also delete it from the action toolbar. It's possible to delete all publication outputs in back action. And then one by one, I can delete the created versions and branch. And the difference and something new is here, if I delete the last version, then as a result, the publication also will be deleted. So it's the demo publication. If I delete the last one, as you can see, the demo publication is also deleted under the publications folder. Okay. So I want to continue with the other improvement, which is direction to the publication manager. So it's the collective spaces user document. And I click this publication. Here on the action toolbar, I have the open in publication manager button. For the first time, the browser will display a pop-up, but you can click this checkbox, then that disappears for the next ones. If I click Open Application Launcher, then the Publication Manager is opening. This is the intermediate screen for the access management. As you can see, the collected spaces user document publication is opened here. If I go back here and want to show you the various improvements, let's go to demo folder and topics. And yeah, I selected this topic accessing sample code. And here from the insights panel, if I go to where used, and this topic is used by this map and also this publication. And now next to the version, we also display the languages. And next to that, for the publication, we also add the same easy navigation buttons here. For example, I can open this in the draft space. And even better that the draft space is opened with the selected topic is in focus. So it's not opening from the beginning. I came here from the accessing sample code topic, so it's in my focus view. Oh, and that was the last thing that I would like to show you. And this is the end of the publication hub and organized space bootcamp session. Thank you for listening.